Hi, Beck Mac here at the UQ Art Museum, and tonight is the opening of Don't Be Evil. And it is very evil here, but it's very light. There's so many contradictions and possibilities in this exhibition, and I'm with an artist called Daniel McKewan, who's created this sort of like hi-fi spy, spooks, underground, adventure story. How are you, Daniel?
I'm good, thank you. That's quite an introduction.
Have you watched Spooks?
Yes, I'm deeply into spooks.
Really?
I
I
mean,
knew you loved spooks. I could tell this is about, is it a bit spooks influenced?
well, yeah, sure. There's a lot of surveillance going on in spooks. There's a lot of clandestine things that aren't quite clear. So maybe there's quite a parallel there. Yeah. I can see that.
This looks, so this is kind of like a narrative almost, like you're telling a story through this, this work. So is this, not that you want it to be linear, but is this where it starts?
I mean, yeah, this is certainly where it starts in that, like, this phone is what gave rise to what the work is about, which is me having, I was just trying to buy a phone. I was just trying to get a new, oh no, look at that. Trying to get a spare phone, and found this phone that already had an app on it when I bought it secondhand. And the short version of the story is that it turns out that I'd bought it off someone whose brother had been a political consultant.
Get out.
And turns out the app was part of what turns out to be kind of failed political consultancy firm.
Extraordinary. Have they tried to kill you yet?
No. Thankfully, I mean, we did what we could to try and protect his identity, and that's just something we won't go much further into. But
What a piece of gold to find. Well, you're like, this is it, the way forward. So what do we do here, Daniel?
So, well, what he explained to me was that, because I kind of like got a chance to ask him some questions, and that this was this kind of like beta app that creates insults, really, political insults. So that you press this randomized button and it sort of comes up with different kind of terms like democratic ideologues, and you can make a conservative lefty here, or a little random button here, center leftists. And turns out the firm he was working for was interested in starting arguments, basically, online. Yeah, right. Yeah, like lots of kind of troll farms, or Russian.
Oh my God! So, okay, can I have a go? So what do I do? Which button do I push?
Whatever you want, really. It turns out you can just scroll through and make your own insults.
But I want one to come to me. I want it to be random.
Yes, you need
Okay,
that.
all right, here we go. This is me. Tory voter. I'm not a Tory voter. How dare you? Oh my God, a true muncher? Not a
Part of the aggressive circle instead. Washington Socialists, Canberra means, Canberra migrants, Canberra millennials, the Canberra mob, Canberra nationalists, Canberra oligarchs. It all works. So,
That is fun.
yeah, what it turns out.
Can I get one of those?
Well,
I could
it's
use that with
stuck
my
on the-
family.
it's stuck on the phone. That's
To
the
my
thing.
children. You're just a socialist proles.
There you go. So I think that was the idea. And it turns out what I found was that app connects to some Twitter accounts. And there seems to be that there was these two kind of think tanks started by the same political consultancy firm that they were attempting to kind of create essentially, like a fake argument between.
It's true trolling.
Yeah.
So
that's
what's
where
going on
it
here?
came from. So the anonymous person that I spoke to was kind enough to give me what's called a pitch deck from the firm that he was working for. So these are some of the slides from the pitch deck. And a pitch deck is something that usually a tech startup presents to venture capitalists as a way to kind of present to them the general gist of the business in the hope that they, pony up some cash. In this case, the pitch deck was full of these kinds of weird sayings and phrases, but what I'm led to understand is that it was all about the consultancy firm. Like they think of themselves as apolitical, and really they're just here to like mess with people. Right. Really just here.
That's even more evil. They don't even give a fuck.
Well, yeah, it's not about don't be evil. It's just about acting fast and breaking things.
But
And
I'm really spun out by the taxes bad with the white dog. Like, I mean, really, what are they trying to say here?
Well, I did ask about that. Apparently, it was an in-joke in the office. That they were so good at their jobs at messing with social media and convincing boomers, is the way they talked about it, convincing boomers to share memes. They could use just dogs and Comic Sans font, and that would still get shared on Facebook.
Yeah, and then people would get angry about it. And then they'd call them, all those names over there.
Or something, I don't know.
Socialist prole. Is it irrelevant? Is it salient? A reason? I I would like some of these though for myself. Now, what's going on with this one?
This is a little bit of a help to people here. So this is a dummy iPhone, really, but the QR code that's on it leads you to an online version of this story. So it's a lot to keep track of. And so what I've done is piece together all the text that I sent back and forth to the person that I was talking to, the emails we sent back and forth. And so at this QR code, you can kind of read through the narrative of that, of me finding out like what's the go with all of this. Yeah.
Do you ever appear in this, like, yourself? Like, in a... Oh, here he is! Oh, I didn't even know that. But I was thinking, gee, I hope you make an appearance.
Well, yeah.
Like the King's Spook, like you're there. Who's the main
I felt a little
man?
bit like that. Oh, it's been a little while since I watched that. But yeah, a lot of this was last year during lockdown, and so like everyone, we spent a lot of time on Zoom, and I convinced this person to give me some time on Zoom. We had a little interview. He's a techie, like he made the app, and the whole point of his job was to be coding and that sort of stuff. So he had some filters sorted out to protect his identity when he joined my Zoom interview anyway. And
Did you just love this? Like espionage.
It fell into my lap,
Are
really.
you friends with that person now?
He hasn't texted me back for a while. I did let him know that we were putting this show on, but he seems to have kind of dropped off. But I did my due diligence.
I'm going to introduce you to him. He's just coming near the door. There he is. Thanks for coming down.
It could be him. I haven't. Yeah, no, he hasn't gotten back to me. So I took that as a subtle sign to just go ahead and put the work up. And apparently there's a nefarious kind of thing that's happened with the bankroll that was running the consultancy firm. And it's a bit convoluted, but what the anonymous person told me was that the person bankrolling the stuff was actually became a fugitive in Europe, and his uncle who was bankrolling it stopped bankrolling him, and so he fled to Europe. This was like pre-COVID, and so the whole kind of enterprise fell apart, and the other people that he was working for, or that they were working for, just kind of moved on to other stuff and other nefarious kind of...
Have to do that in season 2.
Yeah, right, yeah, well, oh God, I'm exhausted. I hope
Anyone, I could be one of the spies in that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, hopefully they don't sort of follow art much and they don't come across this, or perhaps that they don't really care because it's a little hard to follow anyway and they've moved on to other things at this point. Yeah.
Well, I absolutely love it. It's so intriguing and alluring, and everything that this world is right now. Complex, yet simple. Hard to understand, but at the moment, very seductive.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.